Now, political analyst Ahmad Shahidov is joining us now in our studios. Good to have you in our studios.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I'd like to start. Now, how does the Khojaly massacre anniversary resonate with the Azerbaijani people today, and what significance does it hold in the nation's collective memory?
Yes, today is the 32nd of anniversary Khojaly massacre that happened on 25th, 26th February in 1992, and it's one of the tragedies in the history of Azerbaijan, because during the first Karabakh war, Armenian troops occupied 20% of Azerbaijani lands, and we faced several tragic days, atrocities, and the Khojaly massacre is one of these tragedies. And unfortunately, during the last 30 years, Azerbaijani state, Azerbaijani nation looked for justice for Khojaly massacre in international organizations. In spite of that, there are 4 UN Security Council resolutions on immediate release of these territories occupied by Armenians, but we didn't find any statement, criticism on Armenia about this occupation, and especially genocide that committed in Khojaly in 1992. And after 32 years, today Azerbaijani people still remember those days, but today we mark these Khojaly events differently, because after 32 years, now Khojaly is free, finally. And as other regions of Azerbaijan, as a Karabakh, Hankandi, Shusha, Khojaly is free, and the people of Khojaly who became the internally displaced persons, IDPs, refugees from those regions, now are very happy that Khojaly is back. But also, anyway, we still remember those days, and we faced these double standards from Western countries, and we tried to deliver the truth, what happening in Khojaly, what happening in Karabakh, to international organizations. First of all, to get justice from international organization, also not to repeat those kind of events in the world. But unfortunately, now in 2024, we see more tragic events, crimes, war crimes in Ukraine, in Gaza, in Palestine, and it means that international organizations, international community have not applied the double standards, because this is the very bad events that the Khojaly massacre, what happening in Srebrenica, in Ukraine, in Gaza today. That's why Azerbaijan is one of the countries that face these double standards. And in spite of that, 32 years has passed from those events. We still remember, and we are looking for justice from international organizations. Azerbaijan, after 32 years, applied to international court of justice to find and punish those Armenian militants, those Armenian leaders that ordered for this crime, for genocide in Khojaly, because in one day 613 civilians were killed in Khojaly, and it's these clashes, this war between Armenia and Azerbaijan, is not just conflict. It is like war crime. It's like genocide. What's happening in Gaza, in Palestine today. That's why Azerbaijan is one of those countries that suffered from genocide, suffered from the occupation, and we well understand how the Ukrainian people, how the Palestinian people feel today, because we felt those pain during the first Karabakh war, during the Khojaly genocide, and we still remember. We do our best to deliver the truth and to deliver to justice, and to be punished those Armenian militants that ordered this Khojaly genocide in 1992.
Now, reflecting on the ongoing efforts to commemorate the Khojaly tragedy, in what ways do you think the international community can contribute to ensuring that such tragedies are not forgotten and justice is served for the victims and their families?
You know, during the last years, especially in Turkey, in other Turkish and Muslim countries, the Khojaly genocide was spoken and discussed. A lot of films, books was published about these events, and we have the people who moved from Khojaly in 1992. They are talking about their views, how the atrocities committed by Armenians in 1992. And I think that the world community already knows about the Khojaly genocide. But what we have to is to take this tragedy, to this war crime to international courts, and to have the decision and take these Armenian militants to international courts. But unfortunately, we couldn't do it because of this double standards in world community. And Azerbaijani state, Azerbaijani prosecutor gave the names of these Armenian militants, Armenian who committed the genocide to Interpol. But again, because of the double standards, the international organizations didn't do their job to find and to punish those people, those Armenians who committed. But finally, in 2020, in Azerbaijan returned back its territories, and Khojaly, Hankandi returned back to Azerbaijan in September 2023 as a result of anti-terrorist operations. And now Azerbaijani people are happy because all occupied territories get back, and Azerbaijani army takes control over all territories. Now we are, in spite of what's happening in Khojaly, in Karabakh, now we have a peace agenda with Armenia, and we wish to sign the peace agreement with Armenia because we want to open the new page in South Caucasus to have peace and good neighborhood with Armenia, and don't want to happen this kind of crimes, this kind of genocides again.
Now, will Armenia's ratification of the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court help identify the criminals behind the genocide in Khojaly?
You know, in spite of that, Armenian authorities signed this agreement and joined this international Rome law, but there are some double standards inside this regulation as well. When it comes to Ukrainian-Russian war, this legislation becomes very actual, and the all governments, including who joined to this law, have do their duties. But the double standards also we face regarding our own issues regarding the occupation or former occupation of Azerbaijani lands, the genocides, crimes that are committed in the territory of Azerbaijan by Armenia. They are not included in these kind of courts and laws because we have 4 UN Security Council resolutions about the atrocities committed by Armenia. There are several statements by OEC, by Council of Europe, by European Human Rights Court, but unfortunately no implementation we faced, we saw regarding these statements. So this is the next open double standards when it comes to Ukrainian-Russia war, when it comes to another conflicts. These laws implements immediately. When it comes to Azerbaijani issue when it comes to what's happening in Gaza, in Palestine. The whole international community blind their eyes and plays three monkey games regarding to this conflict. So unfortunately, this is the reality that we observe in the world today.
Now, Foreign Minister of Azerbaijan has said that the delegations of Azerbaijan and Armenia will have talks on the peace treaty in the coming days. Now, is Baku willing to make peace with Yerevan without the latter recognizing the Khojaly events as genocide?
You know, after 2020 war, we want to sign the peace agreement with Armenia because we don't want new military operations. We don't want new war in our region in South Caucasus. And during the last 3 years, Azerbaijani government proposed 6 times proposed that this peace treaty draft to Armenian side. And the main principles of this peace treaty draft is the main principles of international law. What is include the recognition of territorial integrity of both countries and recognition of state borders and mutual respect to national interest both countries, I mean Armenia and Azerbaijan. But unfortunately, last 3 years, Yerevan shows, Yerevan seems not, how to say, then try to not to sign this agreement. In spite of that, the leaders of Armenia and Azerbaijan, Pashinyan and Mr. İlham Aliyev, met in different times, in different regions, in Moscow, in St. Petersburg, in Washington, in European capitals. But finally, Yerevan doesn't want to sign this agreement. And today in Berlin, Minister of Foreign Affairs of 2 countries, Armenia and Azerbaijan, they've met once again and discussed the conditions of this peace treaty. But we hope that until the first half of this year, the peace treaty, peace agreement between Armenia and Azerbaijan will be signed. Azerbaijan is ready for signing this agreement and recognize the territorial integrity of Republic of Armenia. But Armenia doesn't look ready to sign this agreement. And last events happening in state border between Armenia and Azerbaijan once again shows that Armenia aims to new provocations because France and other European countries sends new weapons to Armenia. It makes Armenia more to provocations. And today, Armenia captured 1 Azerbaijani soldier on state border, and it negatively impacts on the peace negotiation between the 2 countries. But we hope that finally the peace treaty between these 2 countries will be signed, and we will open new area in the relations with Armenia.
Now let's talk about Gaza. The negotiation process has gained momentum, sparking anticipation for an imminent ceasefire in Gaza. Could you provide insight into the progress of these negotiations, and do you share the belief that a ceasefire is on the horizon?
You know, when we talk about Gaza, it is like the biggest human tragedy. It's like more than Khojaly, more than Srebrenica, more than what's happening in Ukraine. And we have to talk about the Gaza, we have to talk about Palestine if we want justice to Khojaly, to Srebrenica. And what's going on in already 5th month that this brutality, genocide continues in Middle East, in Palestine. This is not the just conflict. It's not the just conflict between Israel and Palestine. It is the open genocide that Israel carry out in Gaza, and it targets not only the Hamas groups, it targets the civilian Palestinians, the civilians in Gaza, in Rafah, in other cities, in all Palestine. And the main aim of Israel is remove all civilians from these territories and take control over these territories. And Israeli army continues this invasion in two sides, with military operations, openly killing the civilians, and another side is starving the civilians, because the food justice is one of the main problem in Gaza. Unfortunately, humanitarian aids not delivered to Gaza today, and they are still waiting in the state border. Israel army, Israel government, they never allowed the humanitarian aid to be delivered to Gaza. And regarding your questions about the negotiations between Israel and Hamas, I think that the main plan of Israel to release these Israeli civilians after all Israeli civilians will be released from Hamas. I think Israel army will continue very deeply these military operations. This is not just military operations, this is genocide. And I think that there are only two countries, Turkey and Qatar, can effectively play this in this negotiation process between Hamas, between Palestine and Israel. But I think that international community, world community, especially Western community countries, they already understand the level of the brutality in Israel. For example, in October 7, in October 8, when these clashes started, all Western countries, they supported Israel because they are the strategic ally. But now we attend international conferences in Western countries. I was in London, in UK, attended the conference in Oxford University, and already European experts, European politicians, they saw how Israel army destroys the cities, targets the civilians. Already 35,000 civilians, Palestinians, were killed by Israel army. Already American, UK and other European expert politicians, they started to talk about the brutality, to talk about the genocide, and they push and call for stopping these military operations and announce at least the ceasefire in the region, because there is no way to continue this brutality. It's against all international law. Israel already violated all international law, Geneva Convention, even the war rules. This is not war, this is genocide. This is the brutality that Israel continue it. And as I mentioned before about the food justice, I remember on February 6, 7 in Qatar, in capital city of Doha, it was organized international community named Food Justice. It's organized by National Human Rights Committee of Qatar, and all Arabic and Muslim ombudsmans, including the ombudsman of Republic of Turkey, attended these international conferences, and all speakers called for international community to show solidarity with Palestinian people and to have this food justice, and to have the Palestinian people to be delivered with food, because without food justice it's impossible to support the Palestinian people. And Israel continues this occupation by military operations, also starving the civilians. This is against all humanity, all international law. But unfortunately, international organizations are doing nothing against Israel army, and there is no any effective international mechanism to push Israel to stop at least to stop the military operations. And I don't talk about the punish Israeli state in international courts, because there are no any mechanism there is mechanism, but we have double standards. When we talk about the war in Ukraine and Russia, of course, Western countries, all international organizations, they condemn this occupation. We also condemn the occupation of Ukrainian territories, but the same is happening in Palestine. Not the same, even worse. The more happening in Palestine, but those international organizations, those European organizations are silent on this conflict. And as a country who suffered from occupation, as the citizen of Azerbaijan, we also support the Palestinian people because we suffered occupation from Armenian occupation for last 30 years. We well understand what feels the Palestinian people. They are waiting for support from international community. They are hoping for justice from international organizations, but unfortunately there is no country in West, there is no international organization that openly criticize and push Israel to stop these military operations, to stop this genocide in Gaza.
Now, another important note is that the Muslim holy month of Ramadan is coming up, and what can we expect during this time? Israel is known to hit hardest during the Muslim holidays, and we've heard just in the last few days that they've announced a prisoner ratio of 10-1 if there will be any understanding.
In a couple of days, as you said, the Ramadan holiday will start, and because of Quran, because of all holy books, two sides have to stop these military operations. But if we talk about the Israeli army, Tel Aviv, state of Israel, never respect no international law, no holy books, no any rules. So I don't think that Israel army will suspend this military operation during Ramadan holiday, during these holy months, these 30 days. But anyway, we have to get the solidarity, at least the Muslim countries, Arabic countries, to push United States of America, which openly supports Israel in this conflict, and push Israel to stop this military operation, because this is against all holy books, even in Christianity, in other holy books, that to kill someone during the Ramadan is not acceptable. So that's why, but I don't think that Israel will stop these military operations, and Israel will continue deeply these military operations after they will get release the Israeli civilians. That's why I think that we have find out another solution to stop these military operations, to have ceasefire, and to end these genocides. And already we just observe new statistic every day, new killings, destroying the new settlements, civilians that killed by Israel army every day. So what to do, I don't know. So there is no international mechanism that can push Israel to stop this brutality, to stop this genocide. This is not the just conflict. This is war crime. This is genocide that committed by Israel every day.
Now, in the past few weeks, we've seen the ICJ, the International Court of Justice, concluded its hearings this week, and on Israel's long-standing and disputed occupation of Palestine. What potential actions or decisions do you anticipate the ICJ will take in response to this decades-old issue?
Of course, the decision that made International Court is good as a historical document, of course. And I remember in October when I was in New York in headquarters of UN during the hearings of UN Security Council on this Israel-Palestinian war. But unfortunately, the Israel doesn't recognize any international law, any international regulation and statements, no UN Security Council resolutions. There are more than 300 resolutions of UN Security Council regarding the Israeli occupation of the Palestinian words. Unfortunately, United States of America used the right of veto, and it means that no resolution will be implemented. And this international court decision will not be implemented because of the Israel allies, like United States of America, like the UK. They are open allies that openly supports Israel. There are hidden allies in Europe as well. The majority of European Union, they not openly but hiddenly support Israel, and in fact they support what's going on in Palestine, this genocide. So this is another example of double standards that we exist in Western countries. That's why I don't believe that the decision of this international court will be effective. We have to find out another very effective solution, and at least to stop this military operation until the people dies in Gaza. No decisions, no statement will be effective. We have to find out another solutions to deliver humanitarian aid, and finally to have two-state solution in Middle East, because the Palestinian people has right to have their own state, independent state, as the state of Israel, and most of international community, majority in UN, they support that this two-state solution. Unfortunately, Israel, very small country, but by the support of United States of America, by the support of the UK, doesn't recognize the independence of the state of Palestine.
Now, lastly, the World Health Organization has been begging for access to hospitals in Gaza, but the Israelis keep rejecting their requests. And the United Nations has failed to make any concrete decisions regarding the Palestinians, and obviously any decision by the International Court of Justice will definitely be rejected by Israel. To sum it all up, can we say that all these international organizations have failed to protect human lives?
Of course, all international organizations has failed already since October, when these military operations started in Palestine. And Israel continues this invasion, first by military operations against Hamas, against the civilians. Another way is starving and pushing the civilians, Palestinians, to leave Gaza and other territories after to take and occupy all these territories. So that's why Israel never mind and don't care about the international organizations, what they discuss, what they made decision. That's why I think that Israel is already violated all leading international legislation, international law, and main organization in the world that rules the world is United Nations Security Council, and 5 permanent members of these organizations, and 2 of them supporting Israel openly. As President of the Republic of Turkey, Mr. Recep Tayyip Erdogan, said that the world is bigger than 5. It means that at least one Muslim country have to be inside this Security Council. So after that, maybe we can end the double standards that exist in the world. So the permanent members in UN Security Council, they don't care about what's happening in Palestine, and also United States, UK, they support Israel. It means that these atrocities will continue until the end. I don't want to be seen like pessimistic, but unfortunately this is the reality that we live in. So how to help the Palestinian people, how to deliver them humanitarian aid, it's just impossible because of Israel violates all international and all legislation that exists in the world.
Ahmad Shahidov, thank you for joining NewsHour, and thank you for your analysis. Now.